Gold. For thousands of years, it has been the ultimate symbol of wealth, stability, and power. Today, you see it in the windows of luxury jewelry stores in London, New York, and Paris. You see it stacked in massive, sterile vaults inside central banks. It represents the foundation of the global economy. But what if I told you that the gold ring on your finger, or the gold components inside your computer, might have directly funded a terror attack, purchased a missile, or fueled a violent insurgency? Welcome back to Anime Atlas Tour and Episode 2 of our Classified Africa Risk Assessment series. In our last episode, we exposed the blood batteries of the Congo. Today, we are opening the second dossier on our intelligence map. We are shifting our focus to a massive arid strip of land crossing Africa, the Sahel. This is the story of the terror gold trade, a multi-billion-dollar shadow economy, where extreme jihadist groups have become massive mining cartels, laundering thousands of tons of illegal gold to buy weapons, effectively fighting a proxy war that stretches all the way to the coast of Yemen. Before we expose the darkest financial pipeline on the planet, make sure you hit that subscribe button right now and turn on notifications. This is a 4-part series exposing the geopolitical secrets that shape our world, and you need to be here for every single episode. Let us look closely at our intelligence map. Highlighted here are Mali, Niger, and the #1 target country on the continent, Burkina Faso. This region is known as the Sahel, a harsh, unforgiving, semi-arid region that separates the Sahara Desert to the north from the tropical savannas to the south. For decades, these countries were considered desperately poor, but in the early 2000s, a massive discovery was made. The sand and rocks of the Sahel were practically glowing with gold. A modern-day gold rush exploded. Millions of impoverished locals abandoned agriculture and flocked to the desert to dig. These are known as artisanal and small-scale gold mines, or ASGM. There are no heavy machines here, just men and women using pickaxes, dynamite, and highly toxic mercury to extract tiny flakes of gold from the dust. By 2020, these informal, unregulated desert mines were producing hundreds of tons of gold every single year. It became a billion-dollar grassroots industry. But wherever there is $1 billion sitting completely unprotected in the desert, predators are guaranteed to follow. The Sahel is a region plagued by political instability, weak governments, and highly porous borders. It is the perfect breeding ground for insurgencies. Over the last decade, affiliates of Al-Qaeda like JNIM and offshoots of the Islamic State realized they were fighting a war while standing on a literal gold mine. According to the map's data, the Sahel has become a jihadist, gold-rich safe haven. The strategy was simple and brutal. Heavily armed militant groups swept through the desert on motorbikes and pickup trucks, launching violent attacks on these artisanal mining camps. They did not shut the mines down, they took them over. The militants became the new management. They force the local miners to dig. They tax every single gram of gold that comes out of the ground, and they provide security for a heavy fee. For these terror groups, gold is the perfect currency. Unlike bank transfers or cryptocurrency, gold is completely untraceable. It cannot be frozen by the US Treasury. It does not require an internet connection, and it is universally accepted. The militants are literally pulling their funding directly out of the sand. But an armed militant leader cannot simply walk into a major European financial institution with a bag full of unregulated desert gold and exchange it for cash. The origin of these resources must be obscured. They need to be integrated into the legitimate global supply chain. How is this achieved? This unofficial gold is transported out of the Sahel region through a massive shadow network of couriers. Using informal transit routes and avoiding official checkpoints, the resources are moved across borders, completely bypassing standard customs protocols and entering regions with lighter economic oversight. From there, a significant portion of this undocumented African gold makes its way to major international trading hubs, particularly in the Middle East. These global financial centers serve as the primary crossroads for the world's precious metals. Once this conflict-sourced gold lands in massive commercial refineries, it is melted down. It is physically mixed with legally mined gold, completely erasing its original geological and geographical signature. It receives new documentation, a shiny new stamp of approval, and just like that, gold from conflict zones enters the legal market. It is then exported globally, eventually making its way into Western markets. international financial institutions, and luxury jewelry stores. So what do these armed factions acquire with the massive capital generated from this washed gold? Look back at the map. Follow the red line stretching from the Sahel all the way across the Red Sea to the Arabian Peninsula. This region has been destabilized by prolonged conflict, with various non-state actors controlling massive stockpiles of military-grade hardware. The intelligence dossier reveals a chilling connection: the resource for hardware pipeline. The capital generated in international markets is used to procure advanced tactical equipment and drone technology from grey market logistics networks operating off the coastal waters. This equipment is then shipped back across the transit routes into Africa, supplying insurgent networks and creating a terrifying endless loop of instability. Resources go out, military hardware comes in. This shadow economy proves that the conflicts on the continent are not isolated local disputes. They are multi-billion-dollar global enterprises, intricately connected to the global financial system and the luxury items we consume. This is just the second piece of the puzzle. The Africa risk assessment map gets much darker. If you appreciate this level of deep geopolitical analysis, you must subscribe to Anime Atlas Tour right now. Hit that subscribe button and join the most informed community on YouTube. Next time in Episode 3, we will shift our focus to the Red Shadow. We will expose how massive private military contractors and state-backed security forces are exploiting these exact same regional disputes to secure massive resource contracts and challenge Western dominance on the continent. And in our epic finale, Episode 4, we will map the unapproved transit corridors crossing the Sahara, where human tracking and dark money intersect. The dossier remains open. Now I want to hear from you in the comments below. Knowing how easily conflict resources enter the legal market, do you think there is any real way to regulate these global hubs? Let me know your thoughts and I will see you in Episode 3.